This is insane. Hey y'all, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Larissa and I am so glad you are here, and I'm so glad that you stumbled across my channel, my video, and I'm so happy that you're here. Today I'm going to be sharing something that is very new, very exciting, something that I've never done before. So I'm really excited to just bring you guys along for the ride. As a lot of you can see by the title of this video, I am moving for 6 months. June. Clickbait. I'm just kidding. I actually am moving, but only for 6 months. So I'm just going to dive into why I'm moving, where I'm going, and all the fun things that come with it. In January, I will be moving to Kona, Hawaii, and I'm going to be moving there because I'm partnering with a missions organization called YWAM. A lot of people don't know what YWAM is. YWAM stands for Youth with a Mission, and it's a global missions organization that has multiple different programs, but its main goal is to know God and to make God known. YWAM equips young believers to go and spread the gospel and share it. They also have something called a DTS, which is what I will be doing, and a DTS is a discipleship training school that basically gears young people toward deepening their relationship with the Lord, studying the Bible, evangelizing, and just overall being bold in their faith. Like I said, the base that I will be specifically going to is in Kona, Hawaii, and DTS is split up into 2 parts. So the first part is the first 3 months of the 6, and it's called lecture phase. During lecture phase, you are taking part in classes, you are worshiping, you're doing life with everybody on the base, and 2 weeks into lecture phase is when you get your outreach location and your outreach team. With this team, you will be doing teamwork, you will be doing life together, worshiping together, all these things. And then this takes me to the second part of the DTS, which is outreach phase. So during your outreach phase, you will go with this group of people, with your team, and it's usually around 8 to 10 people, usually half and half boys and girls, and you will be sent to your outreach location. This is typically an international outreach. So you just go there and you equip other young believers to do what basically you're doing now in their nation and other churches, and serving and just being the hands and feet of Jesus, taking the gospel into places that it may have never reached before. I am super excited to go because I'm really looking forward to the spiritual growth, the leadership growth. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody on the base. And so back in March, I actually got to go and visit the base, and that's what I was doing there. Was I was getting to hang out there, kind of check it out, see all about it. And so now I'm going to tell you guys about how God called me into YWAM and into missions specifically. So it all started back in 2023. I was a freshman in college and I was working 4 jobs at the time. So I was a full-time student working 4 jobs, driving back and forth from home, staying on campus. I wasn't going to church, and I had gone to college not because I actually wanted to or knew what I was wanting to go for, but because everybody else was, and it was kind of a pressure at 18, you know, what are you going to do with your life? Where are you going to go to college? What scholarships are you getting? And so I went. Well, after just absolutely exhausting myself with finances, with work, with all of these things, I had realized like I had not been living for God at all. I hadn't been praying, I hadn't been in my Bible, I hadn't been going to church at all. And I'd been saved for a while, but still like I was stepping away from God. And so I sat in my dorm room one night and I said, God, I need you. I know I haven't been here, I know I haven't been asking you, but Lord, I know I need you. What do I do? And he said, go. And that was all I heard. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I knew I wanted to leave college. I knew I needed to. And so I left college, I came back home, I was working a full-time job, and about a year later, I get a new job, and I'm working at a 9 to 5, I'm getting paid well, and I'm like, this is it. This must be what God has in store for me. And so I was sitting in my office one day, and it just kind of hit me. I was like, is this really it? Is this all it is, Lord? Like, God, is this what you had in store for me this whole time? And so I started going to a new church, and this church started talking about surrender. And I'd heard that word before in songs and worship and other sermons, but they were talking about what it actually means and what it can look like to fully surrender to the Lord. And so I just had the revelation of what Jesus had done for me on the cross, and it was just fresh, it was new, and I was like, wow, God, like, I don't want my plan for my life, I want yours. And so I surrendered everything. I surrendered friendships, I surrendered my finances, I just surrendered my plan to him. And it was really hard. You know, obedience isn't always easy, but God always shows up, and so he did for me. And a couple weeks later, God is just opening doors to YWAM here and there, and I was kind of shocked at first because I was like, there's no way God's calling me into mission work. Like, there's no way. I haven't even read my full Bible yet. I just surrendered to him, right? I thought there had to be a process. Well, there doesn't. God can renew everything right then, right there. You just have to give him your yes. And so that's what happened for me. So earlier this year, I'm scrolling on my phone, and this is probably a month after I had surrendered and after he was opening up doors to YWAM. I'm scrolling on my phone and I see a reel, and it says, this is what your 20s could look like. Mind you, I'm about to turn 20, so I'm like, okay, what is it? And it's a bunch of missionaries and missionary work. And I saw that YWAM Kona had posted it, and in the caption it says, are you ready to go? And go is in big capital letters. And I was like, nope, I'm not. I swiped off it because I was like, no, I'm not ready to accept this call to mission work yet. And so again, a week later, I come across their page on Instagram. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the page. I go to it, and in their bio, it says, we train so that you can go. Are you kidding me? That's just insane. That's crazy. I was just starting to realize what God was calling me into. In March, I got to go to the Kona, Hawaii base. As a lot of you, some of you have seen my last vlog. I got to go visit the base. I got to be part of worship classes, and on one of the last days I was there, during one of the classes, they had Matthew 28:19 up on the board, and that says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But the one word, and I'll show you guys a picture here, the one word that was in big capital letters was go. And so everybody's kind of hanging out. They're like, what's up? You know, hanging out with their friends before class. And I'm just staring at this board like, oh my gosh, like God's calling me into making disciples. He's calling me into going to the end of the earth, going into the nation to share the gospel. And so I came back home and I submitted my application for the school, and I had a phone call for the interview. And on the interview, the lady was like, I just told her the whole thing. I told her everything that had happened, and she was like, we usually don't do this because you usually have to wait a couple weeks to know if you made it into the school, but I'm just letting you know right now I'm accepting you right here, right now on the phone. And it was just like door after door was being open, and the Lord was being so kind, and he was just paving the way for me. And so yeah, that's how he called me into mission specifically, but also into YWAM. But now I am leaving January 14th. Okay, what's gonna be new with the channel moving forward? What's it gonna look like? How are things gonna be? I want y'all to come with me on this journey so bad. I would love for you to follow along with me. I'm gonna be posting here on YouTube. I'm gonna be posting on TikTok, Instagram. I will link those down below so that you guys can follow along. I'm typically more active on Instagram and on TikTok, but I'm gonna be doing better here, I promise, because I'm gonna be taking you along. There's gonna be day in my life in Hawaii, life on the base, there's gonna be move-in day, travel day, all the 9 rounds. And so I'm just gonna be taking you guys with me. I would love for you guys to join by subscribing, by following me on my other accounts. I'm hoping to do maybe like 1 to 2 videos a week on here. We'll see, no promises yet, but definitely we'll just see how filming goes. I'm just so excited for this new adventure and for you guys to join me and come with. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next video. Bye.